My name is Scott Jalbert, and I am the Director of Emergency Services.
And I'm Keith Agson, an Emergency Coordinator with OES.
And today we're going to be talking about ZoneHaven. Specifically, we're going to be talking about three subjects. What is ZoneHaven and how we'll use it, how we'll identify zones, and how we activate a zone. ZoneHaven is designed to standardize mass evacuations by utilizing pre-designated zones. How we currently conduct evacuations is the incident commander would describe a location utilizing north of, south of, west of, east of, and give that information to their dispatch center and to their local law enforcement, and then in turn the evacuations would proceed. With that comes some challenges. And so ZoneHaven is going to help us coordinate fire, law, EMS, our emergency operations centers, the media, and most importantly, the public. And the intent is to put everybody on the same page so when we talk about evacuation areas, it's consistent. The software and utilization of zones really help us standardize these maps, and really everyone will literally be on the same page as they'll be looking at the same maps that were pre-designated. In order to utilize ZoneHaven effectively and to get the message out to our citizens, it will be used in conjunction with our other alert and notification systems. ZoneHaven is a third-party opt-in application that citizens will utilize, but because it's a third-party app, there may not be that many people that utilize the application. ZoneHaven is intended to be used for large-scale evacuations. It is not designed for smaller fires where we may take protective actions for one or two streets. ZoneHaven can be used for all hazard emergencies, such as hazmats, fires, or other types of incidents that may require large-scale evacuations. It is a protective action notification system. It is not designed to be used as a tactical or a decision tool. It ensures that consistent messaging is given to responders, the public, and the media. So where we're going with this is that we want to have a collaborative effort with all jurisdictions in the county so that our evacuations procedures are standardized. And so it doesn't matter if you're from San Miguel or Nipomo, the evacuation process is the same. So the collaborative effort has been put together with all 7 cities, all CSDs, all special districts, all law enforcement agencies, and all fire agencies. So ZoneHaven simply adds to our current alert notification system toolbox. Some of the tools that we use to alert and notify the public are, the first one I guess we'll talk about is WEA, Wireless Emergency Alert System. That's something that we use in conjunction with our reverse 911 system when we have to get mass notifications out to the public. We also utilize TV and radio media. This will give the ability for the media stations such as KSBY to grab a hold of our ZoneHaven zone maps and utilize the same exact picture that we're using in the field. We use social media such as Twitter and Facebook. We have Ready Slow, which is the anchor point for our communication to the public to pass along pertinent information. We also have our siren system that's primarily used for a nuclear power plant program, but we can also utilize for tsunamis and other types of emergencies. We have our emergency alert system that's utilized on TV and radio stations. And we also have the traditional route alerting where emergency responders utilizing PAs or the high-low siren system to notify the public of an evacuation. In the future, we hope to have a program called Alert Slow, which will be utilized for lesser emergencies to be able to give information to our citizens. And then finally, ZoneHaven will be another system that we can use that ties into everything that allows public to get real quick information about evacuations. Once the incident commander or commanders decide that some sort of protective action needs to take place, the incident commanders will notify the OES duty officer and give specific information about the protective actions that need to be taken. And in turn, the OES duty officer will activate our ZoneHaven application in conjunction with utilizing our wireless emergency alert system, our reverse 911 system, and putting the information into Ready Slow. And if warranted, we'll utilize our emergency alert system over the TV and radio stations. So when we change the zones, lots of different things happen in the background. We not only have to use ZoneHaven and change the status or the color of the zone, but we also have to get public information out, get information out to the media, and get the word to the public that the conditions have changed. So as I stated earlier about putting all of us on the same page, the background communications is just as important as making sure the public is aware of what's going on. So part of the responsibility of the incident commander, the OES duty officer, the Sheriff Watch commander, the EOCs, is to make sure that we're all communicating and everybody has the same information. Once OES receives information of an evacuation zone, we will also, time permitting, make contact with the affected jurisdictions to make sure that everyone got the same message. If I'm the sergeant and I'm conducting evacuations in my city, I'm going to make sure that my commanders within my city understand what's going on. And in turn, the fire chief is going to make sure that his city manager and their EOCs know what's going on. And in turn, county OES is going to make a phone call and go, hey, just want to make sure, did you guys get word on this? The responsibility is not on just one individual agency, it's collectively, and there may be duplication and there may be over communicating, but that's better than under communicating.
In the event of a large incident, you'll need to be able to identify the zone for activation. So let's look at your options for doing so. There's multiple ways you can access the zones. You can do that either online, via the phone app, a QR code for quick reference, printed books which are optional. We do recommend that all agencies print out these books in the event that you're in a location where you may not have service, and pre-attack plans in the future. Online, the zones can be found using your browser for Genesis Protect, primarily for the public, or ZoneHaven evac. And that will be for all first responders and those agencies that are participating with this program. Genesis Protect is available in the Apple Store for iPhone users and in the Google Play Store for Android users. The app references the exact same evacuation zones as the online data. Based on the incident location, identify the 3-alpha, 3-number unique identifier. This QR code leads directly to the public Genesis Protect website, where you can either explore the map to identify a zone or enter an address to determine the zone identifier. Whether viewing the public interface or logging into the evac view, find the approximate area in the county that needs to be evacuated. Each zone has a 3-letter jurisdictional code. For example, for San Luis County would be SLC, followed by a 3-number identifier. Combined, they form a unique identifier. Highlighted to the right is SLC E236. When we talk about activating a zone, we mean putting it in one of the following status levels. The incident commander may want to shelter in place, provide evacuation warning, or provide an evacuation order, or a combination of the three. These status updates will be visible to the public as well as the op area partners.
When we talk about protective actions, essentially what we're focusing on are 3: shelter in place, evacuation warning, and evacuation order. It is important that we emphasize to the public when we change the status of these protective actions, as they mean different things. In a dynamic incident, you can have all 3 protective actions going on at the same time on the incident. The public needs to be aware of the changing of status, especially when evacuation orders or warnings have been lifted. Typically on an incident in the immediate area, generally the evacuation orders will be given, and in areas behind it or in zones behind it, we may issue evacuation warnings. with the concept of ready, set, go. Shelter in place would typically be used for law enforcement actions in an area or for a hazmat situation where we want the public to just stay put and inside their homes.
OES will handle the activation and status changes for the zones. So once the law enforcement member who's in charge of evacuation has provided that information to the duty officer, they're going to be doing the upload and making those changes of the status of those zones. The following information is going to be needed to provide to the duty officer for OES. We'll need your name, what your title is, the agency, and the contact number. The zones that need to be activated and at what level. Is this a shelter in place? Is it an evacuation warning? Or is it an evacuation order? At what time is this effective? So effective time of status change. Is it immediate? Will it be within an hour period of time or sometime thereafter? Any other pertinent information about the status or situation is also helpful. This information should be provided to OES by contacting the OES duty officer at 805-458-0138. Again, that's 805-458-0138. In the event the OES duty officer is not available, you have the following contact options. You can go directly to the Sheriff's Watch Commander or your agency's designated activator. As the situation changes, you can update OES so that we can have a unified message and the most up-to-date information available to the public. When the status changes and the incident is no longer active, notify the OES duty officer to deactivate the zone status and return to an all-clear status. Once OES has activated the zone, the status will be immediately visible to the public. It would be important for you to check the website and verify that the zones that are activated are correct.
So along with this training, we've developed a one-page kind of like a just-in-time training guide for the folks in the field. This is a checklist, essentially, to remind you of all the critical steps that need to be taken. This includes how to access ZoneHaven and the communication steps that you must take to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Some takeaways we hope you got today is number one, that ZoneHaven is not effective alone. It must be utilized with other alert notification systems. And ZoneHaven simply puts all of us, including the public, on the same map. We want to make sure that we are promoting to our citizens the phrase, know your zone. We want to make sure that we direct everyone to readyslow.org. This way they can see their maps and get updated information. If you have any questions about ZoneHaven or its use, please contact OES at co.slo.ca.us.